Reading Buddies is a program designed to create engagement in reading for students who are either struggling readers or disengaged readers. And the program is for students in kindergarten through 5th grade, and it's connected to University of Colorado Boulder, where students in linguistics, fair and education courses get a practicum credit for coming once a week and reading with little buddies. And so they read together, they play literacy games, and they write a book. And the whole point of the program is to create a relationship around reading that's decontextualized from school. So reading becomes about the way that you bond with someone and the stories that you tell a person and the stories you tell together, rather than like lexicon scores or reading level scores.
So the role of a big buddy is specifically to build, the number one thing is to build a relationship with the little buddy in the context of reading. So what we expect little buddies to do is to be super excited about reading, to bring their own love of reading into the library, to pick books that they're really excited about and read with the little buddy. There's no expectation that the little buddy has to read ever. It's more just engaging in books. So for example, some buddies just read I Spy for an entire semester, and that's okay because it's still engaging in books and finding a fun way to talk about stories. Along with that, they also are expected to start writing their own story, and this happens in a way that combines reading literacy with writing literacy. So for example, they'll read a book with a model of characterization in mind, and then after they read the book and identify characters or components of characters, then they write a character for their story. The same happens for a plot structure. So they have to identify the beginning, middle, end of a story that they might really love, like Fancy Nancy, and then they have to write their entire different story using a plot structure. And so the idea is to link reading and writing and storytelling to story listening and story reading. And then so they generate the final product, which is a written story. The cool part about Reading Buddies is the written story is typically multimodal. So not only do they write it, but it gets scanned into the computer, and they often can record their voice and record music as well.
Her car, but her bump is so overcrowded that I knew it will just get lost on there. So I asked Dad if I could put it on his car. Dad recently bought a new car, and I saw my Student of the Week sticker will.
Besides developing a reading and writing sort of link or synthesis and product, the component of Reading Buddies that's particularly powerful is bridging CU students to the community. As you know, or might not know, CU is pretty insular, and so people stay within the community, they stay within their dorm, and often in many ways, this community serves CU students. There's the Hill, and there's a lot of basically businesses that cater to students, and so there's not a lot of giving back. Especially CU students rarely have exposure to students, so the communities of color in this community, and also impoverished people in this community, and they exist, but it's really hard to know that if you're not actually involved in the community.
Probably headed to church, and Riley came with us. I do not think Riley's family just goes to church that much, so he's not used to all the rules about what you're supposed to do and when. So I always have to tell him when you need to kneel and stand and all that. I think he must thought I said peace be with you, like the vegetable. Peace be with you. No peace, you with you.
And so in terms of growth, what's really, really important is for CU students to get back to the community and to recognize that the role of literacy and community and meaning making. And so it's not just about this idea of writing a book or reading a book. It's about the idea of engaging community and recognizing that stories and the stories we tell about our lives impact the communities in which we live. And so essentially, CU students get to form their own stories of what Boulder is about. And they also often get to rewrite dominant narratives about, like, Boulder's just rich white folk, right? Because that's not true. There's a lot of not a lot of diversity, that'd be a dirty lie, but there's diversity here in some way, and there's marginalized communities that are made invisible specifically by CU and its dominance in this community. And so coming to the library, which is free, I mean, you meet all of the people who are arguably invisible in a lot of commerce and engagement outside of the university. And so it seems like sometimes on the surface that the program's like about writing a book or reading a book, but it's so much more. And it takes literacy to lived experiences, and it takes literacy to reading the world.
Yes, happy Pig Day! The day of the pig. The pig. It is the best day to have a pig party.
We'll help you, Kirsty promised.
It
I know we can find
is the best day to sing pig songs. It is the best day to dance pig dances. It is the best day to eat pig food.
Let's create some
It
fabulous
is
hairstyles.
the best day to play pig games. Pig games.
Blair kept smiling, but it was obviously to the girl that something was very wrong.
It is the
Rachel's
best
coat kept
day
spraying out of the
to
braids.
say
Blair couldn't
oinky,
seem to cut
oinky,
Kirsty's hair to the same
oinky.
length on both sides.
That
At
means
last, most of
happy
Rachel's hair was
pig
braided.
day
Kirsty's
and
trim was
pig.
almost the same length.
My favorite part is reading and drawing.
What's your story about?
My story about is like the kitty and the puppy. And it's my favorite.
My favorite thing from reading buddies is that I have an awesome reading buddy, and that we get to read, and also we get to do stories.